Hi, Celine here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I set it up because I want to share content, experiences, what I've learned from my own life experience to help anyone who is struggling, who wants to change their lives, and is maybe looking for some support in doing that. My particular story is that I'm the other side of cancer, breast cancer. I have often talked about being a breast cancer survivor, and I am, but I sort of feel now that's not necessarily where I want to put the focus. It has been an experience that transformed my life in just immeasurably. Cannot put words on how different and better my life has been from having gone through that process and learned from it. And I want to support anyone else who maybe is in the same situation and knows that there's a message in cancer or whatever they're going through and want to learn and change their life as a result. And that's the type of content I want to share. So I hope you enjoy my videos and my content. I'm also I'm publishing a book on that story, on that journey I have gone through from feeling burnt out and empty to now living my life on purpose every day, finding, that I'm really aligned with what gives me joy and helps me be of service in the world. So yeah, I wish that for you. And that book is going to be published in March. I'll be sharing more content about that. Also, if you are new to the channel, I have some links in the description box below to I have a free guide. If you'd like a copy of it, it's 6 signs you're getting a spiritual wake-up call. And I developed that because it was sort of the first, I suppose, moment for me where I started to realize that everything that was going wrong in my life wasn't really going wrong. It was telling me that I needed to shift direction. I needed to be sort of nudged back onto my path. So they were ultimately for my higher good. So that's why I developed it, because I feel it's a good starting point. Also, if you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe if you do like the content. So on to the topic of the video today. I make videos, as I said, on different topics, usually dependent on what's sort of come up intuitively, or maybe something that I'm finding I need to work on. So it's always very current and it's always from personal experience. And I have a series of videos I developed called Living Your Best Life series. And they're just tips, shorter videos that I share. Well, they're meant to be short. I start off shorter and then I keep talking. But that's the idea, a tip or something that comes up that I feel can be pretty useful. So the tip today is tip number 6. And I'm calling it Find Your Rhythm. And I really like that. I love analogies and descriptions of life I think that's how our subconscious talks to us, very much metaphorically. And it's always how I get messages, or visually. But that idea of finding your rhythm has always appealed to me because I've always struggled with it. So if you're in that position, I hope that by just listening to my few tips, it will help you sort of understand a bit better why it's important and how you can go about getting into rhythm in your life. And that's when you live from a state of flow. So what I mean, by finding your rhythm is, and that's going to be unique. I think that's the thing to remember as well, is finding your rhythm is going to be obviously unique to each of us. So whether that's how we work, what we do as a job, how we spend our days, the sort of the rhythm of the times that we work, that we rest, that we exercise, the type of foods, and there are probably certain practices and ways of living that are more optimal than others, but we all have to find what, I suppose, helps us feel in flow, comfortable, relaxed, productive, energized as well. So they're all good. What would I say? It's a good sense that you're in rhythm when you're feeling like that. You're in rhythm with your life, and I believe that many of us the reason we end up out of that sort of natural rhythm, that we know it instinctively and we know it intuitively, we feel it. I know I feel it now, I just didn't really understand that. Is because the systems we have been living under sort of want to have us all sort of behaving nearly like robots, that we're all in the one rhythm. I remember even when I was going to work towards the end, before I was diagnosed with cancer, and how burnt out I felt. I remember I used to find the hours, the way that work was structured, just really didn't suit me, because, sometimes I often had to work late in the evening because I visited schools a lot, and we ran a lot of events for students going to university. So that was sort of my role, supporting them. So often we had events at night, and I'd love them, and I'd love talking to students and parents and all of that activity, but I'd be really tired as well after it. So having to then fall back into the 9 to 5, I just found I couldn't rest when I felt I needed to rest, and work when I felt mostly in flow and energized. And that, with time, but that was the system. I knew even then there was something wrong with it, just wasn't aligning with me. And I was very much out of my own rhythm. And as a result, then the work I was doing wasn't really as powerful, maybe, or as impactful as it could be. And that's definitely what happened towards the end. So I do think that's a big part of it, and not getting any downtime. I wasn't getting any downtime. So a rhythm, like an ebb and a flow of the tide. There's a time to stop and rest and recharge, and a time to be moving, and moving in the way that works for you. I think another aspect of maybe why we don't stay or get into that rhythm is often we have, which I had again, we have unresolved traumas or hurts inside, or we're looking for approval, we're not feeling enough, so that drive to keep going, so it's just this push, and you're totally out of sync with your own rhythm. Very understandable. I think we all do it. I did it for years. And the signs that, if you're out of that rhythm for quite a long time, prolonged periods of time, are the usual, the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the exhaustion. I used to feel like I was nearly running on empty fumes towards the end. That's how, I was not honouring my body, and not honouring the rhythms of my body and what it needed. So just words of advice to you, or suggestions, maybe, if you are feeling that, maybe you can't put words on it. That's why I call it finding your rhythm. I think it's a nice way to look at it, to know that each of us, there was something there was a description I really liked. It was about letting life, you're not living life is sort of expressing itself through you, and it's going to do that uniquely in each of us, to a different rhythm. Like they say, dance, or go live to the beat of your own drum, and then we all come together and harmonize and make really beautiful music. I just love that analogy, and it's a nice way to, rather than beating yourself up or judging yourself maybe for not doing, or looking at someone else and the way they're living, and maybe it isn't suiting you, but because we've very unique temperaments and so many different things that make us who we are, whether it's our life experiences, what we're, the environment we grew up in, our culture, so many, our relationships, they're all going to influence. So I would just encourage you to spend time tapping into the rhythm of your life. First thing, I would say, is unplug, power down. It's difficult to find, if you've been living sort of out of sync with your natural rhythms, to sort of suddenly move to a new one. We often need to stop, and that happened to me post-cancer. I literally was brought to a standstill for about 2 years, and try as I might to get back up and get going again, I was always stopped, because I was going back to living in a way that was not in rhythm with who I am and the music that I came here to play. So my first suggestion would be, when you feel that sort of dis-ease inside, which is telling you you're out of rhythm, power down, switch off in whatever way you can, nature is fantastic. I always find it really helps me realign without having to do anything. Meditation, silence, quiet. I also find what's really useful is to do something physical. So I love knitting, gardening, could be painting, anything that sort of takes you out of your head and down into your body is really powerful as well. Looking at the type of foods you eat, the way of working, not always easy to depending on the type of work you do, but just paying attention to that and listening to when, the reason, as I said, I chose to speak on this topic today is because I was struggling with it for I suppose the last week or so, and I think it was old patterning sort of coming up, which hadn't for a while, which was telling me I wasn't doing enough. And I sort of went into this pushing. I got myself in quite a sort of a stressed state because I knew that pushing and doing and trying to do more and more and more, I was really getting less done, or what I was doing really wasn't of huge value. So it was a real reminder to me. So what I did as a result, which I haven't done in ages actually, I just took some time out and I met a friend for a coffee, and I'm going to go for a walk now and get out again in the fresh air and sort of realign, and to know and just remember that your body always knows. Your body is supremely intelligent. I just had that conversation with this friend I met who has been struggling a lot with different physical ailments, and there can be many, obviously. I'm not just saying this is the only reason, but there's lots of reasons for why we go through those, and only us can come to the root of that physical ailment. But I knew both of us were saying in our conversation that we were finding ourselves trying to live and do things in a way that just felt out of balance for us. So that just was a great reminder to me as well. So I just want to finish this video on saying, just take some time out if you're feeling like that. And your nervous system and your body, everything will tell you. And I hope you find your unique rhythm. And your unique rhythm is what the world needs. We each have a very individual, beautiful musical note to play. I know I'm going off on all these musical analogies, but I like them. So I wish that for you, I wish that you find your rhythm. And thank you for listening. And as I said, do click on the link if you'd like to get a copy of my free guide, 6 Signs You're Getting a Spiritual Wake-Up Call. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye.